Alright, let me take you on a spine-tingling journey through the dark and eerie world of an abandoned factory. Buckle up, because this story is about to take you for a terrifying ride. I've always been one of those people who can't resist exploring the unknown. So, when I heard about an abandoned factory on the outskirts of town, my curiosity got the better of me. It was a place shrouded in mystery, a relic of the past that had long been forgotten. I remember the day I decided to check it out. The sun was setting, casting long shadows that stretched across the empty streets. The factory loomed in the distance, its windows shattered and its walls covered in graffiti. It was the kind of place that sent shivers down your spine just looking at it. As I approached, my footsteps echoed through the desolate landscape, and I couldn't help but wonder, what am I doing here? This place gives me the creeps. Is it really worth exploring? But that nagging sense of adventure pushed me forward. The factory's rusty gates creaked open, and I stepped inside, my flashlight cutting through the darkness like a beacon of curiosity. The air was heavy with the smell of decay, and the silence was broken only by the sound of my own breathing. My mind was racing, and I couldn't help but whisper to myself, "This is it. I'm redoing this. But what am I hoping to find here? And what if I'm not alone?" I made my way through the labyrinthine corridors, each step accompanied by the creaking of floorboards and the distant echo of dripping water. The place was a maze, and it felt like I was being swallowed by the darkness. My thoughts were a jumble of fear and excitement. I should turn back, right? This is insane. What if I get lost in here? But I pressed on, my flashlight revealing glimpses of the factory's eerie past. Abandoned machinery, broken conveyor belts, and forgotten tools lay strewn about, like the remnants of a world that had vanished. My heart was pounding, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. My mind was racing again. This place is like a graveyard for machines. What happened here? Why was it abandoned? And why does it feel like there's something lurking in the shadows? As I delved deeper into the factory, I stumbled upon a room that sent a chill down my spine. It was like stepping into a nightmare. Shelves lined with decaying documents, dusty desks frozen in time, and a sense of foreboding that made my skin crawl. My thoughts were all over the place. Who worked here? What secrets are hidden in these files? And why do I feel like I've walked into a trap? But the real terror came when I reached the heart of the factory, a massive chamber that seemed to stretch into infinity. It was filled with towering machines, their metallic skeletons looming like giants in the darkness. And in the center of it all, I saw her, a figure, hunched and twisted, her eyes gleaming with malevolence. My heart stopped, and I could barely form a coherent thought. Is that a person? What is she doing here? Is she trapped too? But before I could react, she let out a bone-chilling scream that echoed through the factory. My instincts screamed at me to run, and I sprinted for the nearest exit, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was right behind me, her presence like a suffocating weight on my back. My thoughts were a jumble of fear and desperation. I need to get out of here. I need to find safety. What the hell is happening? As I burst through the factory doors and into the cool night air, relief washed over me. I was out, alive, and I had escaped whatever haunted that forsaken place. But the horrors were far from over. My mind was racing. I can't believe I made it out. That was insane. I need to find help. What was she doing in there? But just as I turned to leave, I heard her voice, a whisper carried by the wind. She spoke of the factory's dark history, of the workers who had toiled away in misery, and of the sinister experiments conducted in its depths. My thoughts were spinning. This can't be real. What is she saying? Is she a ghost, a victim of the factory's past? But as her story unfolded, I realized the shocking truth. She wasn't a ghost, and she wasn't alone. She was part of a group of survivors, people who had been hiding in the factory for years, their lives consumed by fear and isolation. My mind was racing once more. Survivors? How is that possible? What are they doing in there? And why did she attack me? But the answer was more horrifying than anything I could have imagined. They had been living in the factory, hidden from the world, and they saw me as a threat to their secret existence. The near-death experience, the terrifying figure, it was all a way to protect their hidden sanctuary. My thoughts were a jumble of confusion and disbelief. I stumbled into their world, into their nightmare. But what do I do now? Do I tell anyone about them, or do I keep their secret? As I left the factory behind, I couldn't help but wonder about the lives of those survivors trapped in a world of darkness and despair. The factory, once a place of industry and progress, had become a prison for those who sought refuge within its walls. So, my friend, the next time you're tempted to explore the unknown, remember that sometimes the darkness holds secrets that are better left undiscovered. And the line between survival and terror can be razor thin, with unexpected twists lurking around every corner. You ever get that itch for adventure, even when it's a really bad idea? Yeah, that was me when I decided to explore the abandoned factory on the outskirts of town. You know the kind, right? Rusty metal, shattered windows, and an air of desolation that just screams stay out. But hey, curiosity's a powerful thing, and it led me straight into this nightmare. So there I was, standing in front of the factory's looming entrance. My flashlight was like a puny little sunbeam in the vast darkness of the place. My thoughts, well, they were all over the place. This is nuts. Seriously, what am I doing here? There could be anything in there. Ghosts, squatters, or worse. But I couldn't resist. I had to know what secrets this forsaken place held. With each step, my heart pounded louder. The creaking floorboards beneath me added a layer of suspense, and my racing thoughts kept urging me to turn back. This is the point of no return, huh? Maybe I should rethink this. I navigated through the gloom, my flashlight revealing eerie remnants of the past. Abandoned machinery, faded signs, and the smell of dampness filled the air. The factory felt like a ghost town, and my imagination started running wild. What went on here? Why was it abandoned? And why do I keep thinking I'm not alone? My mind was racing again. I can't just chicken out now, right? But what if I find something I can't handle? With that in mind, I kept moving forward, deeper into the darkness. The factory's twisted corridors seemed to lead to nowhere, but I had to see it all. My flashlight picked out strange symbols painted on the walls, adding to the sense of unease. What's with these symbols? Is this some kind of cult thing? Should I be worried? Then I reached what seemed like the heart of the factory, a massive chamber filled with gigantic machines that loomed like ancient gods. Their shadows danced around, and I could swear they whispered secrets. My thoughts were a mess. These machines are enormous. What did they make here? And what's with the weird whispering sounds? But the real shocker was what I saw in the center of it all. A swirling vortex, a portal to another dimension. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie, a rip in reality itself. My heart was pounding and my mind was racing. This can't be real, right? Portals to other dimensions don't exist, do they? But it's right there. The portal seemed to beckon, like it held answers to all the factory's mysteries. I couldn't resist its pull. So I took a step closer, my thoughts in overdrive. This is madness. I should leave, call someone, report this. But what if I'm onto something big? What if I can prove this is real? With an adrenaline-fueled resolve, I stepped through the portal. The world on the other side was unlike anything I'd ever seen. A surreal landscape of twisted trees, strange creatures, and a sky that seemed to be made of shifting colors. My mind was reeling. Okay, this is definitely not Kansas. Did I just stumble into another dimension? Is this real? As I explored further, I encountered beings unlike anything from our world. They were curious, friendly even, and they spoke in a language I couldn't understand. I couldn't help but feel a mix of wonder and terror. These creatures, they're friendly, right? What if they're just luring me into some kind of trap? But as I spent more time in this strange realm, I started to pick up on their language, their customs. It was like I was becoming a part of their world, and it was both thrilling and unsettling. My thoughts were racing yet again. This is incredible, but what if I can't go back? What if I'm stuck here forever? Time seemed to blur in that otherworldly place. Days turned into weeks, and I began to forget about the world I'd left behind. My old life was a distant memory, replaced by the adventure of a lifetime. My mind was a whirlwind. Is this my new reality? Have I left everything behind for good? But then, as abruptly as it had all begun, the portal beckoned me once more. It was like a whisper in my mind, urging me to return home. My thoughts were in turmoil. Do I go back, or do I stay here in this incredible world? What's waiting for me on the other side? With a heavy heart, I stepped through the portal and found myself back in the factory, the familiar scent of decay filling my nostrils. My mind was racing. Did that really happen? Was it all a dream? But there's no denying it, I've changed. And here's the twist you weren't expecting. As I walked away from the factory, I couldn't help but feel like I was leaving a part of myself behind. The portal had opened my eyes to a reality beyond imagination, but it had also cost me my old life. So my friend, the next time you're drawn to the unknown, remember that sometimes curiosity can lead you to places you never thought possible, and the line between reality and fantasy can blur in the most unexpected ways. All right, let's dive deeper into the eerie world of the abandoned factory, where every rusted beam and shadow holds a secret. Strap in, this is going to be quite the chilling ride. As I approached the factory, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long ghostly shadows that seemed to stretch and claw at the rusty, weather-beaten structure. My flashlight cut through the encroaching darkness, revealing peeling paint and broken windows that whispered tales of neglect and decay. My thoughts danced between fascination and trepidation. What am I doing here? This place gives me the creeps. Is it really worth exploring? But curiosity was a relentless beast, urging me to push open the creaky, half-broken door and step into the unknown. The air inside was thick with the scent of dust and dampness, carrying the weight of forgotten memories. It felt like I'd entered a different time, a different world altogether. My thoughts were a whirlwind of skepticism and excitement, battling for dominance. Is this real? Am I really going inside? What could I possibly find in here? Deeper into the factory, the echoes of my footsteps reverberated through the cavernous space like a distant, haunting chorus. It was as though I'd wandered into a forgotten realm where time had stood still for decades. My flashlight danced across abandoned machinery, forgotten tools, and the detritus of a once thriving industry. My mind spun a web of questions, each strand more tangled than the last. What kind of work went on here? Why was it abandoned? And why do I get the feeling I'm not alone? But the real chill came when I stumbled upon a scene that made my heart skip a beat. In the dim light, I could see the factory's machines whirring to life. Conveyor belts started moving, gears turned with mechanical precision, and assembly lines came alive, all without a single human soul in sight. It was a jarring contradiction to the abandoned state of the place. My thoughts raced, collided, and then ricocheted off each other. This can't be real, right? How are these machines running on their own? Is someone messing with me? I ventured further into the factory, my heart pounding, my senses on high alert. It was like a sci-fi horror movie come to life, and I was the unwitting protagonist. Is this some kind of elaborate prank? Or is there something more sinister at play? My thoughts couldn't keep up with the surreal reality unfolding before me. As I navigated the maze-like corridors, the feeling of being watched became impossible to ignore. Shadows seemed to twitch and contort, and distant sounds morphed into eerie whispers that danced at the edge of my hearing. This is crazy, right? Maybe I should turn back. But what if there's something incredible hidden in here? Curiosity was relentless, pushing me further into the abyss. Finally, I reached what appeared to be the heart of the factory, a vast chamber dominated by colossal machines that pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly energy. My flashlight revealed intricate patterns etched into the floor, like some bizarre ritual site. The air was heavy with tension, and my thoughts circled like vultures over a fresh kill. What is this place? What were they trying to achieve here? And why do I feel like an intruder in my own reality? But then, the factory's machines came to life with a deafening roar. The assembly lines quickened their pace, sparks flew, and a cacophony of mechanical sounds filled the air. I was paralyzed with shock, my mind a whirlpool of disbelief and terror. This is impossible, right? Machines don't just start up on their own. What's going on? The factory seemed alive, as if it had a mind of its own, an agenda hidden from prying eyes. It was a symphony of mechanical chaos, and I was just an intruder in its domain. My heart raced, my pulse pounded in my temples, and my lungs struggled to keep up with the overwhelming sensations. I need to get out of here. This is insane. But how? Where's the way out? Panic set in as I frantically searched for an escape route, my thoughts barely coherent amidst the chaos. And now, the twist that'll send a chill down your spine. Just as I was about to make a run for it, the machines suddenly came to a halt, their deafening symphony replaced by an eerie silence. I was left standing there, heart pounding, wondering what had just happened. My mind teetered on the edge of reason and madness. What is this? Have I stepped into a nightmare? Is this some kind of sick game? But then, as I made my way back to the entrance, I heard a faint whisper in the wind. It was the factory itself, speaking to me, beckoning me to return. My skin prickled with unease, and my thoughts swirled in a maelstrom of fear and curiosity. This can't be real. Is the factory alive? Does it have a purpose for me? As I stood at the factory's entrance, bathed in the eerie glow of my flashlight, I couldn't help but feel a strange connection to the place. It was as if it had chosen me, as if it had a purpose that I was meant to uncover. My mind was a tempest of confusion, torn between the desire to flee and the compulsion to explore further. Should I go back in? Is this some kind of calling? Or am I just going mad? In the end, I chose to leave, but the memory of that night haunted my dreams. The abandoned factory, with its mysterious machines and inexplicable phenomena, remained an enigma that gnawed at my thoughts. It was a place that defied reason and challenged the boundaries of what I believed to be possible. So, my friend, remember that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures come when you least expect them, and the mysteries of the world can be far more complex than we can ever imagine. And who knows, maybe one day I'll find the courage to return and uncover the truth behind the enigmatic factory that seemed to have a life of its own.